There is a kind of discipline the world never sees. Not the kind posted online, not the kind that comes with applause. The quiet kind. The kind that happens before sunrise, when the rest of the world is still dreaming. This is a story about that. His name was Haruto, a farmer's son from a small village in rural Japan. He was not remarkable by any visible measure. He did not attend a famous university. He did not come from money. He did not have a mentor who handed him a secret map to success. What he had was a habit, one that started when he was 19 years old and never stopped. Every morning, before the birds made a sound, Haruto woke up at 5. Not because someone told him to, not because of a book or a motivational talk. He woke up because he had noticed something that most people spend their whole lives missing. In the silence of early morning, he could hear himself think. Not the version of himself shaped by other people's opinions, not the self that was tired or distracted or performing for an audience. The real one, the one with actual ideas, actual fears, actual clarity. He spent that first hour doing only one thing, thinking about the person he wanted to become, and then doing one small action toward that person. Some mornings he read. Some mornings he walked. Some mornings he sat still and simply decided who he was going to be that day. Here is what science has quietly confirmed about this. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and self-control, is at its sharpest in the early hours after deep sleep. The mental noise that accumulates throughout the day has not yet built up. Willpower, researchers have found, is not infinite. It depletes with every decision made. Haruto was using his best mental hours before the world had a chance to drain them. But this story is not really about neuroscience. It is about what happened 30 years later. Haruto had built a small but deeply respected business. He had raised children who described him as the calmest man they had ever known. And he had developed a reputation in his community for something unusual. He always seemed to know exactly who he was. Not arrogantly, just quietly, solidly, like a tree that had been rooted long enough that wind no longer frightened it. When a young journalist once asked him for his secret, Haruto paused for a long moment. Then he said something that stayed with her for the rest of her life. He said, "Most people live their whole lives reacting. They wake up and immediately let the world tell them what to feel, what to want, what to fear. I just decided a long time ago that I would meet myself before I met the world." She wrote that down in her notebook. Then she asked him if he was ever tempted to sleep in. He smiled and said, "Every single morning." That is the part that people misunderstand about discipline. They think it belongs to people who are never tempted, people who are somehow wired differently, stronger, less human. But the truth is far more ordinary and far more hopeful than that. Discipline is just a decision made repeatedly in moments of resistance. Haruto was not extraordinary because he never struggled. He was extraordinary because he kept choosing, quietly, without an audience, without a reward, for 30 years. And here is the thought that is hardest to shake after hearing this story. The version of yourself you most want to become is not waiting for a perfect moment, a better situation, or a sign from somewhere outside of you. It is waiting in the silence of 5 in the morning, in the space before the world arrives, in the small, uncelebrated decision to meet yourself first. That space exists for everyone. The only question is whether anyone will show up for it.